Hello everyone. Let's review shloka number 59 in Lalita Sahasranamam. Manuvidyā chandravidyā chandramaṇḍalamadhyagā chārurūpā chāruhāsā chāruchandra kaḻādharā. So from this shloka onwards, we are looking at Devi's omnipresence, her ability to be anywhere and everywhere. So the shloka, all the shlokas following are going to explore where all she is. So let's look at the meanings of the namas. Manuvidyā. Manuvidyā represents the variation of Panchadasi mantra that was chanted by Manu. So Panchadasi is the subtle form of Lalita. So it is where she resides, she is in the sound form. And if you look at the Panchadasi mantra, we've already seen it. It has 15 letters and it is divided into 3 groups. And the first group represents Lalita's face, which is the Vagbhavakuta. The second group, the Madhyakuta, represents from neck until waist. And then the last group, the Shaktikuta, represents the waist down. So, Lalita resides as Panchadasi mantra. See, she is present as Panchadasi mantra. And Panchadasi is one of the most important mantras in Srividya tradition, and it offers liberation for anyone who practices that. The mantra is very powerful, and therefore it should only be practiced with the Diksha from a guru. And there are about 15 people who practice the Panchadasi mantra. So they are popularly known as Srividya practitioners. Vishnu, Shiva, Kubera, Lopamudra, Surya, Skanda, Durvasa, Brahma, Manu, Agastya, Manmada, Sakara, Yama, Chandra and Nandi are considered to be these 15 practitioners. There are some variations whether it's 15 or 12. Some people don't count Sakara, Yama and Brahma, others do count it, but generally these are the 15 people. And we said the Panchadasi mantra has 15 letters, and depending on which letter the mantra starts with, the mantra Panchadasi is divided into 3 groups: Hadividyā, Kadividyā and Sadividyā. If the first letter of the Panchadasi mantra starts with Ha, then it's called as Hadividyā. So Srividya, Panchadasi mantra is the Srividya mantra. In that, if it starts with the Ha, the 15 letters, the first letter is Ha, then it is called as Hadividyā. Ha, Adi Vidya. Adi means beginning. So beginning with Ha, it's called as Hadividyā. And there are some practitioners there. And then if the first letter starts with Ka, then it's called as Kadividyā. And this Kadividyā is the one that was practiced by Manu. So Manu practiced Kadividyā variation of Panchadasi mantra. So this is the most popular Vidya that is practiced. So currently also it's followed. So Brahma, Manu, Agastya, Manmata, Sakara, Yama, all of them practice this Kadividyā. In fact, the very well-known practitioner of Kadividyā is Manmada, who is the Kamadeva. So he wrote a book called Varivasya Rahasya, which explains the Panchadasi mantra, and it is based on what he practiced, which is the Kadividya category. And there is also Sadividya. If the first 15 out of the 15 letters, if the first letter is Sa, then it is called as Sadividya, and this was practiced by Chandra and Nandi. So that is the second nama here, chandravidyā. So that is the variation of Panchadasi mantra which was practiced by Chandra. So that is the Sadividya. This is not in use. In fact, even in the practitioners, you can see only 2 people who practice Chandra and Nandi. So Manuvidyā, Panchadasi mantra practiced by Manu, which is the Kadividyā. Chandravidyā, which is the Panchadasi mantra practiced by Chandra, which is the Sadividya. Chandramaṇḍalamadhyagā. So Chandra here is the moon. Mandala means region. Madhyaga means middle. So she is residing in the center of the moon region. What does that mean? So the moon region references here the Sahasrara. The Sahasrara is the topmost chakra. So there are total 7 chakras, but the Sahasrara is 2 or 3 inches above the top of the head. It's not in our body. And the Sahasrara is the destination for the Kundalini energy. So from the Mooladhara chakra, the Kundalini energy rises to the Sahasrara. And the Sahasrara is envisioned as a 1,000-petal lotus, Sahasradala Padma. So it is supposed to have 20 layers with 50 petals each, and that's what makes a 1,000-petal lotus. And each petal is supposed to represent one Sanskrit alphabet, and so that is the Sahasradala Padma. In the pericarp of that lotus is a lunar region, which is called as Chandramaṇḍala. And in the Chandramaṇḍala, there is a triangle within which there is the supreme point called the Bindu. And this is where this consciousness, the transcendental consciousness or the complete bliss resides. So, in the Sahasrara chakra, the moon region is there, and she resides within that moon region, which is inside the triangle, which is the point called Bindu. So, this is also called as Bindu chakra or Soma chakra or Chandra Kamala. So, this is a chakra that's inside the Sahasrara region, and this is why Shiva is also wearing the crescent, and we'll see this further down. So, what it is said that is when the Mooladhara, from the Mooladhara chakra, the Kundalini awakens and then slowly it rises all the way up to Sahasrara. Once it reaches Sahasrara and it reaches this moon region, the Soma chakra is considered as the dispenser of the nectar. There is supposed to be nectar that is in there. And then as soon as the energy hits there, and when the energy reaches Sahasrara, it is supposed to be the union of Shiva and Shakti. So, the Sushumna Nadi on one end is Shakti in the form of Kundalini. On the other end, it's considered to be Shiva. And then slowly this energy rises, and then at the Sahasrara, it is supposed to be a brilliant light, white in color. So, Kundalini, the Mooladhara chakra, is red in color. Slowly, as we reach that union, it becomes white in color. White represents clarity, purity, etc. So, that's considered as the union of Shiva and Shakti. And that's why we also saw earlier, Tadillata Samaruchihi. So, when she unites with Shiva in the Sahasrara region, it is supposed to be a brilliant white light compared to the moonlight. And at that point, the nectar begins to flow. And then when that nectar is properly utilized, if you don't do anything with it, it falls all the way into the digestive system and gets digested. But yogins know how to capture that, and then they are able to use that, and that is supposed to be the source of youthfulness, vitality, health, healing, harmony, clarity, calming the emotions, etc. So, that is considered to be the nectar of immortality. If someone is able to capture that nectar and utilize it appropriately, apparently there is a yoga to stretch your tongue all the way back and capture that nectar. So before it goes into the digestive system, you can utilize it. Such people are supposed to live long and they're supposed to be immortal. And this is why Shiva has the moon on his head, showing that the consciousness can be achieved, supreme bliss can be achieved when you utilize the nectar that is coming out of the moon center appropriately. So that is supposed to be a symbol of immortality, youthfulness. So she resides in the Chandramaṇḍala within that triangle inside the point called Bindu. Chārurūpā. Charu means pleasing. So Rupa means form. So Chārurūpā is someone who has a pleasing form or very beautiful. Chāruhāsā. Hāsam means smile. So this is someone who has a beautiful smile. Chāruchandra kaḻādharā. So Charu again here is beautiful. Chandra Kala means the crescent moon. Kala means the phases of the moon. So Chandra Kala is a crescent moon. Dharanam means to wear, to bear. So she is someone who is wearing the crescent moon. So that covers the namas in this sloka. Let's look at a small story related to the moon. So you can see in this we had chandravidyā, chandramaṇḍalamadhyagā, chārurūpā, chāruhāsā, chāruchandra kaḻādharā. So let's look at a story related to moon. So according to legend, moon was born 3 times. So that's why he is also called as Trijanmi, right? First time he was created by Brahma. Second time he emerged from the eyes of sage Atri, and Chandra's radiance became so powerful and intolerable that he was immersed into the ocean of milk. And then for another event, when the Devas and Asuras churned the ocean, Chandra was also reborn and released along with Lakshmi. So he's also considered as Lakshmi's brother because he came from the same milk ocean. So Chandra married Daksha's 27 daughters. And even though he married all 27 of them, he was very fond of his wife Rohini. And he spent most of his time only with her. Now, these other 26 wives really resented this. He wasn't spending any time. And so they went and complained to their father, Daksha. And they said, "You've ruined our life. If Chandra only liked Rohini, you could have just gotten Rohini married. Now we are married to a person who doesn't care about us. Our life is spoiled." So hearing this, Daksha really got upset. And he went to Chandra and he said, "You have to treat all my daughters the same." And Chandra unfortunately did not respond according to what Daksha expected. So Daksha got very angry and he cursed Chandra. And he said, "May your powers decline with the passing of each day." So he lost his temper and he cursed that. And what that means is then Chandra is slowly going to fade away and then become nothing. And Daksha's thought was that, Chandra is full, he's most handsome, etc. And he thought that's why he was not listening. And if you take away the brightness, if you take away the importance of Chandra, all this cockiness associated with the handsomeness, then he would come back to, form, whatever he wanted, he would fall in line. But unfortunately, the way he declared it, he said, "Your powers will decline with the passing of each day," which means that he will finally become nothing. Now, when all the other daughters heard, they were all completely dejected. They did not want to punish their husband or make him go away or fade away. Rather, all they wanted was his attention. So now these wives are all very upset. So they're all asking Daksha, "Why did you do this to our husband? Now take the curse back." But unfortunately for Daksha, he can only give the curse. He can't take the curse back. So he said, "I can't do anything." So then Chandra, now hearing about it, didn't know what to do. He went to Brahma and he said, "Brahma, can you please help?" And Brahma said, "No, please talk to Shiva. Maybe Shiva can help." So Chandra went to Shiva and he thought he could ask for some help. And so what Chandra decided to do is he went to the Prabhaspatan and there he established a linga and then he started to pray to Shiva. And if you look at this, even for Brahma and Shiva, there is some benefit in making sure Chandra is existing because the moon is needed. All the plants grow in the night. So the moon is associated with vegetation. So not having a moon will destroy the balance within the universe. So Chandra started to pray earnestly to the linga that he established. And then Shiva was also very empathizing, and therefore he came and he said, "I completely understand what you're going through. I want to help you. But you all know already Daksha and Shiva don't get along very well." So what Shiva said is, "I cannot reverse Daksha's curse. I've told, I've kind of come to a conclusion with him that we both won't interfere with each other anymore. So I cannot reverse his curse. But what I can do is try to reduce the extent of the curse. So that way, I can soften it. Like you won't fade away. What will happen is you will still fade, but then again you will increase in brightness." So this is how the waxing and waning of the moon came to be. So he said, from now onwards, you will increase in brightness for 15 days in Shukla Paksha and then wane 15 days in Krishna Paksha. And then on a full moon day, you will fill the world with your radiance, but then on new moon day, you will completely disappear. So that way, this kind of balances the curse that Daksha gave, but at the same time, make sure that Chandra is living. And so Chandra was a bit disappointed. He thought, he can come back to his normal self, and he thought he was disappointed that he is going to wax and wane, and he felt like that crescent shape will always be a reminder of the curse he got from Daksha, and it will also show to the world that he has reduced strength. So he felt like it was a low point for him, and that was going to stand there completely. So then Shiva consoled him, and he said, you know what, the crescent what it means is that even though you got a curse, you didn't completely go away. So it shows your power, and it shows how you were able to reverse your curse. And in order to make you feel better, I'll wear you, when you're a crescent, I'll wear you in my hair. So for all the devotees, I will show that you are dear to me even in your lowest moments. So that is the symbol of Shiva having the crescent moon on his head. And so Shiva went ahead and wore the crescent moon on his head. And that is a significance for all of us, that even in our lowest moments, God doesn't let us down, and we are always dear to God, regardless of what we are going through in life. So that is an important reminder. And because of this, Shiva came to be known as Chandrasekhara. So the one who has Chandra mounted on his head. And the moon came to be known as Soma, and one day in each week is dedicated to Soma, which is the Monday. It's called as Somavar. And the linga that Chandra worshipped is the famous pilgrimage site. It's called Somnath in Gujarat, and it is the first Jyotirlinga in India. And the 27 wives of Chandra are nothing but the constellations that are surrounding the moon's orbit. And in Indian astrology, we refer to them as nakshatras, like Ashwini, Kritika, Rohini, etc. So they're all very important part of the Hindu calendar. So that's a story about how Shiva came to be called as Chandrasekhara, and how Chandra was relieved from the curse given by Daksha. And full moon days are considered to be very auspicious according to the Hindu mythology. And it is said that on full moon days, with the radiance of the moonlight, human beings tend to be more balanced. So in our body, there are considered to be several energy channels, and out of that, 3 channels are very important: Ida, Pingala, and Sushumana. The Sushumana is the central shaft, and that is where the Kundalini rises. But generally, what happens is our breath oscillates between the Ida and Pingala. And because of the oscillation of breath is why our mind is also oscillating. Our breath and mind are connected. That's why if you are really stressed, they'll say, take a deep breath. That calms your mind. So generally the prana is oscillating between Ida and Pingala. But apparently on the full moon day, the moon's effect creates a ability for the prana to go through the Sushumana Nadi, which then becomes which has an effect of stilling the mind, and therefore people are more balanced. That's why full moon days are considered to be very auspicious for spiritual endeavors. So even with Lalita Sahasranama, imagining Lalita to be in that full moon and chanting on a full moon day is supposed to get more benefit. That's all for today. Thank you.